Comhairle. Comhairle, just the outset, I want to welcome Madame Ambassador here to the Chamber. We as politicians in this House stand in full solidarity with your country. Every country, and this very roof and this building knows it better than any place else, every country has its full unequivocal right to independence and not to be interfered with by any outside nation. We stand in full solidarity with the people of Ukraine here tonight and in the days and weeks that follow. Comhairle, Minister, before I came to the Chamber, I was flicking from the news channels from one to another, and I saw footage, I hope I'm pronouncing this town correctly, Madam Ambassador, Drushkipa, a town in the east of Ukraine, where children in school number 1, Drushkipa, were being taken by their teachers from their classrooms down the corridor into a bomb shelter as a drill exercise. A drill exercise they had to do every few years. Now it's become a feature of daily life in the school. These are children 5 or 6 years of age, probably junior, senior infants or their equivalent in Ukraine. Absolutely abhor what I saw on the news tonight. Vladimir Putin is the thug of the international schoolyard of geopolitics. He's not bringing independence, he's not bringing peace, he's bringing war and death, and he's bringing suffering to these poor people and children in Drushkipa and other smaller villages and towns in Ukraine. The last time I think we saw something like this happen in Europe, again the eyes turned the other way and we allowed things to happen. I'm a real lover of history and reading history books. We saw how this happened and manifested itself in the 1930s and 40s, and it certainly didn't stop in the neighbouring nations to Germany. They went and they went again, and I think what Vladimir Putin is certainly hell-bent on is restoring the old imperial Russia. He very much has his eyes on the nations that lie to the west of his international boundaries. In 2002, I had the great honour of studying in Czech Republic as it was on its way to acceding to the European Union. I studied in the University of Olomouc, where I studied Central European Studies and post-communism studies. The people of that country, the people of Ukraine, the people of Central and Eastern Europe democratically have chosen a pathway in recent years looking westwards, looking towards the European Union. For some nations looking towards NATO, that has to be respected. They certainly didn't choose to see Russian tanks and Russian insurgents and Russian military taking off their patches and putting on balaclavas and pretending they're some sort of happy peacekeeping group coming in. They're not. They're an invading force, and the nations of Europe and the world need to react as such. I would feel, though, over the years, as with all bullies, they become emboldened and they push the boundaries more and more because of a limp attitude towards them. I've seen that limp attitude in the recent weeks as we've turned on the television night after night to see the European Union say, we will wait and see what happens next. We'll wait for the next move. We'll wait to see that they invade further. We even saw it in this country when we went and actually thanked the Russian ambassador for taking ballistic test exercises out beyond their exclusive economic zone. We thanked him. That's ludicrous. I mean, we should be telling them where to go, not thanking him for moving further out with his vessels. We've also seen from the Sinn Féin party in 2015, when we first saw Russian presence coming into Ukraine, when there were sanctions at stake in the European Parliament, and your MEPs voted against them. So limp attitude after limp attitude after limp attitude, it has only served to embolden Vladimir Putin to the point where tanks and troops are now crossing the border into other nations. And many actors, I think, have a part to play in where we've gotten to at this stage. I just also want to mention, Comhairle, Belarus. A puppet state. That is what it is at the moment, a puppet state with a dictator president. I, like many members here in this House, have adopted a Belarusian political prisoner. His name, and I want it on record in this House, is Sergei Hatskovich. He's 17 years of age. He should be completing his final state examinations this year in high school. Instead, he's spending his second year in prison. He's missed the funeral of his father, his grandfather, his aunt. What we saw a year ago was 180 Belarusian prisoners. We now have 283 prisoners. And these are people who are holding placards on the street. These are not people who take guns and balaclavas and try to bring some moral authority to the street. They're not. These are people who are standing up for the fundamental rights. One of those political prisoners, it's the prisoner that my colleague, Deputy Sean Haughey, adopted, has even died in custody in suspicious circumstances. We need to stand up time and time again. No more limp attitudes from Ireland, the European Union or the Western nations insofar as it comes to Russian aggression. Finally, in my last few seconds, Iryna Zaritska is a Ukrainian national in my community, and I just want to read what she emailed me earlier. The Ukrainian nation are very grateful to both the Irish people and Europe for amassing support. We are against any military conflicts. All we want is to be a free, independent, strong European state. People want to live in their own land, admire their history and speak their language.
Thank you, Deputy Crowe.